Welcome back to the Welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. This is episode number 636 of the Immigration Answers Show. How's everybody doing? It's good to be with you. Sorry about yesterday. Sorry we weren't able to do a show, but here we are, and we should be here for the rest of the week. How's everybody doing? How's your week? Everything off to a good start? I hope that it is. I'll be here for the next hour trying to answer as many immigration law-related questions as I can. Let's say hi to Tyrone and Malik. Hina is here. Hope is here. Hello, Hope. Traylene is saying hello from Ohio. Gabrielle is in Missouri. Creaky Bones is here from Oregon. Jay Cruz says hello from the Northern Plains. Jay Cruz asked a nice question. How did the argument go with that judge? Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. So this was a motion to dismiss one of our consular processing cases filed by the government up in the District of Minnesota. We had a wonderful judge. I enjoyed talking to her very much. We talked for about an hour. No, it went longer than an hour. About an hour and 20 minutes. The judge. So this is a case where our client had an I-130 pending, trying to bring her spouse to the United States from Johannesburg, South Africa. It took USCIS 2 years to approve the I-130, which is BS. And they got scheduled for an interview in Johannesburg, and a year went by. And after a year, we filed a lawsuit. And so now it's been 4 years since she started trying to bring her husband here. 2 years since the State Department got the case, and 1.5 years since they had their interview. So we had a very robust conversation. I think I hit it off with the judge, and I think we made some really good points. She was really trying to understand how things work at the State Department. She asked lots of good questions, lots of clarifying questions. I really enjoyed it. It was a tough hearing. And the interesting thing is, so the government was moving to dismiss our complaint. So it's the government's motion. So sort of they have to show that they're entitled to dismissal. And basically what they're arguing is they haven't waited that long. The main thing we spent a lot of time talking about is admin processing, 221G admin processing. And the government attorney tried to argue that that was a final decision. And that's one thing no judges are really buying on that point, because they can't say it's a final decision when they're still asking you for more documentation. So in this case, they'd asked for that stupid DS5535. And we're still asking for more stuff. And so the judge said, so is there a difference between a no and a no with a wink, like a maybe? Which is sort of the whole thing. So, that Supreme Court case, the Munoz case, they didn't give that guy a visa because he had gang affiliations. Well, that's something that you can't really overcome differently than admin processing. So we spent a lot of time talking about admin processing, what it is, what it isn't. And the gist of my argument was, look, we haven't gotten started. Just give me a little discovery. Let me take a deposition or two. Let me do some written discovery. And then we'll go from there. So I think the judge sort of went along with that. So thanks for asking, Jay Cruz. Michael's here. Jesse's here. Nurse Laura is here. Nick is in New York. We got MDDS from sunny England. Well, I'm glad it's sunny in England. All right. Now, listen, one other thing I want to point out is there are a lot of scammers out there. There's somebody that copied our website wholesale. There's also people getting hit up on TikTok. Don't send money if we're not sending you a contract. We would never ask you for money if we weren't sending you a contract. And you always sign the contract first before you send the money. So if anybody says $200 to talk to Jim, $200 to talk to an attorney, that's all BS. Don't believe that stuff. All right, JD's been waiting. Hello, JD.
Hey, Jim, how's it going?
Great. How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Hey, I've got a new background for you. Maybe you recognize it.
It's pretty sweet. So that's USCIS somewhere. Where?
No, it's 500 North Broadway.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, that's where our other office is.
I was trying to play the name that I don't know if you've seen on YouTube. People can see something on YouTube and then they know exactly where it is.
Oh, that's fun. No, there's a game that my son plays. I forget what GeoGuessr, I think, where they just sort of drop you in the middle of a Google map and you got to figure out what country you're in. It's sort of fun.
Yeah, this is exactly it. But this is your office here, so
I failed.
yeah.
You get a big F.
Actually, a point on that question on that point. Do you have two offices in St. Louis?
Yeah, that's sort of a satellite office. Our main office is sort of out in the county, St. Louis County.
Okay. All right. So just got a couple questions for you again, if that's okay. All right. So just to kind of recap on kind of the fact pattern that I have. So I have a friend that lives in a Canadian border town who's also a Canadian CPA. So given that they're Canadian, they would have advantages for some employment-based opportunities in the U.S., including the TN.
Right.
Right. So I understand that, being in the profession of accounting, it qualifies under the TN visa category, correct?
It's on the list.
Right. And then in terms of like a flow to a green card, would the most sense be TN visa to H-1B, H-1B to EB-2, EB-2 to green card? Would that flow make the most sense to you?
That's the flow.
Okay. So on that point, so you had talked about, I think I'd heard you talk to someone else that they had asked, why shouldn't you go from a TN to a green card? And you had indicated that you're putting all your eggs in one basket. Could you articulate kind of why that is and why that's a problem? Like,
TN's a non-immigrant visa.
Right.
So once you start the green card process, then, if your TN's about to expire and you start the green card process and then you need to get a new TN, they're going to ask if anyone's filed an immigrant visa petition for you. And then once you do that, that's sort of hard to convince them that you don't have immigrant intent.
So does that mean that if you're going through the EB-2 process, like the labor certification, the I-140, if that gets denied, are you racking up bad time?
No, it's not about, no. It's not about racking up bad time. So the problem with immigrant intent always is the effect it has on your ability to get future non-immigrant visas. That's the big problem. It's not bad. It doesn't knock you out of status on your TN by having started the I-140 process. If that makes sense.
But just it makes it so you have no other options if the EB-2 process is
sort of like all in, right? It's sort of like all in. It's like I don't want to. And so why it's safer to do it on an H-1B is, you have that H-1B, there's no problem going back and forth. And so if I'm on a TN, the thing I'm thinking about mostly is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Employer, I'm really happy to come work for you at TN, but to me, that's just like the starting. What I want is someone to sponsor me for an H-1B and to sponsor me for a green card. So let's have that conversation before I come in and we get in bed together. I'd rather know that you're on board with really helping me stay in the United States.
Because if it doesn't work out with your EB-2, then you're sort of screwed. Like there's nothing left for you because now you've demonstrated immigrant intent. Is that sort of the idea?
Yeah, that's exactly the idea.
Okay. All right. Now, kind of on that thought line, there's also the L1 visa as well, but also as non-immigrant. So would the thought process be the same? Don't go L1 to try to go to green card too?
Well, L1s, you can go to a green card because there's special green cards for L1 holders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that process also faster? Like, let's consider if you're doing TN to H-1B, H-1B to EB-2, is it faster to get to a green card from starting out at L1?
Yes, but L's are usually going to be EB-1s.
Sorry, say it again.
L's are usually going to be EB-1s. There's a special EB category for L's that does go faster. Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So that I had that question there. So the next question is, so you've talked about how the success rate for people that are going the marriage-based route is provided you're with a lawyer, is generally sort of 95%. I think you sort of mentioned that before, right?
Probably. I said something like 95%. I would say our office is 95%. Generally, I don't know, man. If you watch this show, everybody screws it up, and it would make you think it was lower. That's a good question. I don't know. I wouldn't think it's 95%. Of everybody going through the marriage-based green card process, I would say it's probably 85%.
85%. So taking that from the family-based route and then applying that to the employment-based, what is the success rate for people that are going the employment-based route?
Oh, geez, I don't know.
Would it be quite a bit lower?
I would think so.
And so, what pitfalls or traps you see most people falling in related to the employment-based route?
Well, so on any employment-based case, whether it's a H-1B or an immigrant visa, there's usually like 3 or 4 big issues. One is the ability of the employer. Is the employer legit? Is it a company that we think is going to be able to pay this employee? The position. Do we believe the position is properly classified? I think a lot of denials come on NIW where people try to hype up their credentials, and EB1s too. So I think really the biggest pitfalls are not a good match between employer, position, and employee. One of those things or two of those things aren't very strong, and that's why those get denied.
Okay.
I also think a lot of people just file dumb employment-based applications that they don't know what in the hell they're doing.
So if we talk about the flow that I started with, the TN onto green card, that's in generally the more conservative sort of route, would you say?
TN H-1B green card?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And being in the profession of accounting, like I work for a multinational corporation in Canada that also has offices in the States. So I'm like senior manager of accounting.
So I think you want to look at the L a lot.
Right. So does that mean that that would be sort of that route would be less prone to failure?
That's a strong, streamlined route. Okay. I'm going to look for these stats on approval and denial.
Yeah, I've often wondered that because you've just mentioned that generally, I mean, I understand that the marriage-based route is like 80% of the flow that people go to green card. That's where most people go.
That's a good question too, but yeah, I would say so.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, so the last thing that I just want to leave you with, and just sort of a thought, being an accountant is, so I would say that, by finding you, Jim, we've all won the lottery. And let me explain that thought. So we're at episode 636, which is 636 hours of content that you have on the internet, right?
True.
And then if we add in the 5 hours for your 500th episode, that's 641. Right. And then if we, tack on, your TikTok content, other content that you have, you're probably more like 650, 665 an hour.
There's probably 2,000 YouTube videos, and they're probably all 5 minutes each.
Yeah. So you're maybe you're at 700 hours, something like that. So if you apply, I went to Google and I looked up what is the charge out rate for a partner in St. Louis, and it's roughly $450.
Nice.
So if you take, but we're not just talking to a partner, we're talking to a founding partner of a firm, right? So I would imagine that your bill out rate would be higher, right? So
let's say 500, that'll make it easy.
Right. So, 700 hours times 500, what is that? $400,000 that we're talking about.
Nice.
And free advice that we have. So that's like winning the lottery. So I just wanted to communicate to you. I don't know if you've ever thought about that, but
I haven't.
We've all won the lottery by finding you. So
Awesome.
I really appreciate what you're doing. Thanks for all your content, and I'm sure I'll be back.
Thanks, JD. I love the call. That was a great call. Thanks, brother.
All right. Have a good one.
Yep. See ya. Speaking of all my good advice, I gave out bad advice the other day. I said that an H-2B is is a dual intent visa. It is not. It is a non-immigrant visa. So we got to find that guy I gave bad advice to on the H-2B. We got to track him down. But we appreciate JD's kind words, and I'll try not to talk about things that I'm not entirely 100% sure of. But there you go. That was a great call. That made my day. I'm going to tell my wife about that. She's going to say, show me the money. Show me the money. Where's the money? And I said, well, we do have a nice little firm now, don't we? All right. TD's here. Hi, TD.
Yeah, I'm fine. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I have a few questions, please. On 2017 November, I traveled to the United States with B1, B2 visa visiting, and during that time, I don't know nothing about how to go about my work authorization and everything. So at 2019, 2020, someone told me something about Asylum because I don't know nothing about it before. Do you understand? So by the time they asked me they're going to file an asylum for me, they said it was too late. By the time they were supposed to put it in, it's late because I didn't know nothing. So they now advised me to, the man now did withhold for me. You understand? So
Say,
with the
was that
withhold,
the last thing you said? I didn't hear what you said.
I said before that because they told me to
It's too
file the
late to file.
asylum was
It's too
too
late.
late to file the asylum.
You have to file
It
within a
was too,
year. Right.
yeah, too late. It was because after a year. So they did withhold for me, which they withhold the first attempt they did for me. I think the decision was they denied it. So in the denying paper, they said if you are CASA or ASAP member, you understand that you can put in the ASAP membership card, which I joined the ASAP then and I forwarded the I went to the person and gave the person the ASAP card, the membership card. And after putting it back for me, they approved the application. I was given the EAD and the work authorization. Do you understand? And after 2 years, I renewed it. So my question now is, how can the status be changed just to work towards my green card or anything? Is there anything I can do to get the green card with the withhold?
No, I don't think so. I think you're just in a holding pattern. They're basically not deporting you. That's all that ESOP is.
So there is nothing with the withhold. The status cannot be changed to get the green card because they
Yeah,
told me they're going to call me for interview.
it can, but you need a new independent way to so they'll keep if you're withholding, you can just keep renewing withholding, right? But if you let's say you've been in the United States and you're on withholding for 4 years or whatever, and then you marry a US citizen. If you have a valid entry, then you could apply for an I-130, and then once that gets approved, you go back to the court and say, "Hey, judge, we know you gave TD withholding. We want you to set that aside, remove the deportation order, and terminate proceedings so TD can get a green card based on our approved I-130 through marriage to a U.S. citizen." You can do all that. That's okay. But there's no path out of withholding. Withholding is basically, hey, we just don't want to deport you, but we also aren't going to give you any status. It's like we're just letting you physically stay here with no real route or path to U.S. citizenship.
Okay. What if I have someone, a US citizen, that wants to change my status for me? Is that possible?
You mean like a spouse?
Yes.
Yeah, if you marry a U.S. citizen, you validly entered on a B1 B2, which is what you said.
Yes.
You can do
Yes.
it. It's just a lot harder than if you didn't have withholding. But yeah, it's possible.
Okay. Is there anything? Can you please help me with that if I have
Yeah,
the person that's
these
gonna
are my,
help
these are
me?
my favorite kind of cases. I mean, as long as it's a real marriage. Is it a real marriage?
Yes.
Yeah, as long as it's a real marriage. Yeah, we love working on these cases. These are hard cases. They take a long time, but it's very fulfilling to take someone who has basically a deportation order with withholding and then help them get a green card. We love working on that. Shoot us an email or call the office and say, "Hey, I'm TD. I was on the show with Jim on Wednesday."
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Thank you. All
Thank you,
right.
TD. Bye.
You're welcome.
All right. Malik is here. Malik, are you there?
Hi.
How you
Hi.
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. First, I want to appreciate just like all the free advice you've been giving on TikTok and everything.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
yeah. So here's the situation. So my wife and I got married last year. Well, I'm on F1 visa, and it recently just expired. And so last year in November, my wife, who's a citizen, derivative citizen from her U.S. citizen father. We got married last year in November, but at that time she did not have any citizenship evidence. Like she only has her green card. So she filed the I-130 petition for me in November, and then in December, and then she got her U.S. passport in April this year. So I went ahead and filed the I-485 along with the I-130 receipt notice, and I attached her U.S. passport. but it was rejected because the USCIS says that the priority date hasn't been reached. I'm just my question is like, now that she already obtained her U.S. citizenship proof, does it allow me to just directly file the I-485, or she needs to get that updated with the USCIS first?
So if you weren't married yet, and if you hadn't started the process, I would say the best thing to do, and I still think maybe the best thing to do, is for her to do an N-600. Clearly, in their system, they still think she's a green card holder. You have not convinced them that she's a U.S. citizen. So how are you so sure? How are you 100%? Just because you got a passport from the State Department, that doesn't mean shit, really. It's the State Department does their own thing, and frankly, they make mistakes a lot. So what you need is probably the help from a lawyer to walk them through in the cover letter. Here's her passport. Here's her green card. She entered on this date. Her dad naturalized on this date. Here's the citation to the statutes. Here's the citation to the regulations. This is why she's a U.S. citizen. So don't send it back saying the priority date's not current, you dumbasses, because she's a citizen, right? Like, you got to yell it from the top of the letter. So she has not carried her burden to convince them that she's a U.S. citizen. And between you and me, I don't know if she is, because there's rules about when she entered and when her dad nats and all that stuff. You've got that's the most important thing in your case.
Right. Okay. So you're saying the U.S. passport alone doesn't prove citizenship?
Two different agencies.
Okay. Yeah, she her N-600 she filed last year in September, so she's waiting on that now. Okay.
Well, did they reject the 485, or did they reject the I-130, or all of it?
The I-130 is still pending. We sent a letter to upgrade back in like last month.
Yeah, but in that letter, did you convince them that she's a U.S. citizen? It's your burden.
Yes, we did include her birth certificate, the marriage certificate of her father and mom, and then the pending N-600. So everything that we sent to the Department of State, we included that in the letter, and along with the passport biodata page.
That was after the 485 got rejected?
Yeah, that was after. Unfortunately, it's after 485 got rejected.
Did they keep the filing fee for the 485?
No. They didn't charge me.
Okay, good. Well, so again, I think you can get your 485 started. You might, I mean, if you have an N-600 on file, and it's, usually those take about a year. So you might just chill until September. And then once USCIS is satisfied that she's a citizen, then you get the certificate of citizenship, then send in a copy with that and a new 485.
Okay, so you recommend just waiting until she gets her certificate of citizenship? I
mean, it's a close call. You said your F1 visa expired. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Does that mean you didn't graduate, or you did OPT?
Okay. So I did OPT, and then it expired in May. And then I'm still in the 60-day grace period right now.
So what are you gonna do?
So right now, my plan is just to wait to adjust status in the United States.
I mean, you understand there's a risk there, right?
Right. I understand.
Yeah. So what I mean that you could file for a change of status to a B1, B2, or you could go back to school and change to an F1, maybe go to community college, so that you maintain that status while they clear up. I mean, do I think you're going to get deported? No, I don't. But, at the same time, keeping your record clean is not the worst thing in the world.
Okay, I see. All right. Thank you so much.
Hi, Malik. See you, buddy. Interesting case.
Right.
Thanks for the call. Yep, for sure. Mika's here. Hello, Mika.
Hi, Jim. Can you hear me?
I can. I'll take you off camera too. How you doing?
I'm good. So, I'm a long-time listener, but a first-time caller.
Oh, my favorite. Those are my favorites. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Those are my favorites. What can I help you with?
Yeah. So, my storyline is I came to the United States in 2017, August, and with a B1, B2, and then I think before the 6 months were over, I filed for asylum. But I've never been called for interview or anything.
Sure.
And then in 2020, January, I got married to my husband. He's a U.S. citizen, and then we filed for the I-130. Well, then I didn't know that I can do concurrent filing, so I
Yeah.
just did the I-130 and the 765, the 864, the 693,
Yeah.
and then around November of 2022, they approved my I-130.
Yep.
And then in November or in December, the same a month later, I filed for the I-485.
Yeah.
They called me for the biometrics on March of 2023, and they approved my 765 on August of 2023.
Nice.
So, but they've not. My 485 is still pending.
Yeah. So the 45 has been pending since March of 2023.
Yeah, I filed the 485 in December 6th of 2022.
And if you had did you have an interview on your I-130?
No,
And if you had an interview for your green card, which field office would it be at?
it's a Texas Service Center, so maybe Dallas. I don't know.
Well, like where do you live? Like what's your big city?
I'm in Dallas.
Dallas. Okay. Okay. Cool. So I'm not surprised your 45 hasn't been approved. I'm going to put you on mute real quick just because I'm getting feedback, and then I'll turn your mute back off. Okay. So I'm not surprised that the 45 has been delayed. Sometimes just the fact that you had asylum and then married a U.S. citizen can cause them to delay the 45 just because they want to look at the asylum case. But so that's one reason why your case may be delayed. The second reason, and the more likely reason, is that plus the I-130 being filed separately from the 45. That means you confused them. So if you think about you, Mika, as a person, you have sort of 3 fishing hooks out there. You have one fishing hook at the end of the line for asylum, one for your I-130, and one for the 45. So you're sort of spread out all over immigration. And so nobody's really putting everything together and realizing that you're just one person. So what you probably need to do is file a lawsuit in federal court in Dallas saying, hey, I'm here. I filed for asylum. I filed for the I-130. The I-130 has been approved. My 45 has been on file for 18 months. And I need you to give a final decision on the 45. I think you've just confused them. And I don't know, have you done anything to try to get USCIS? Like, have you called them and said, hey, what's going on? Oh. Mika, are you there? Mika, can you hear me? Maybe she didn't like it when I turned her on mute, but she's off mute now. Mika, can you hear me? All right. Well, maybe she'll hold on. What, Huli?
That she's off. Probably she's talking, but we cannot hear her.
But I took her off mute.
Her.
I took her off mute.
Yeah, but she's not on stage.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Mika, you there?
Yes.
Sorry. That was my fault. I screwed up the muting. Okay. So have you called USCIS to try to get them to say what's going on with the 45? I think you've just basically confused them.
Yes. I hired a lawyer recently, like 2 months ago,
Yeah.
and they tried to get an inquiry from the USCIS, but the feedback that they gave me is that they are not. My case is still within the processing time, and the earliest that I can consult again about the case, the 485, is March next year on the 17th.
F that. We're not doing that. You should sue them.
Okay.
If you sue them, Dallas is
if
a great
I
place.
go ahead and hire your firm, how do I go about it?
Can you send me an email, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com? Say, hey, it's me, Mika. I was on with Jim around the 30-minute mark on Wednesday.
Okay.
And then we'll follow up, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye, Mika. See ya. A couple of things. so she hired a lawyer, and the lawyer just said, "Oh, well, USCIS says you got to wait till March." That's just total BS. We're not doing that. And number two, Eve asked this question: could she have withdrawn the asylum case? Yes, she can, but she shouldn't. There's no rule that says you have to. USCIS should be able to handle both. If she got her interview something, I might withdraw it, but there's no reason to withdraw it. I would leave it on there. All right. Let's go to Mohammed. Hi, Mohammed.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm great, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good. I don't know if you remember, but we did speak on June 17th about I filed my I-130, I-485. Concurrently, I am married to a U.S. citizen. And my question was through credit card payment. I made my payment, and unfortunately, on June 17th evening, they tried running the credit card, and then the bank didn't authorize that.
I remember
So,
I remember we talked about that, but I've actually talked to a lot of people about that. That stupid credit card thing is a big problem.
for sure. So it's been almost like a month now, and I still didn't get any the packet returned or any notice. So my question is, should I go ahead and create a new packet and send it over, or just wait for some sort of return from them about the documents, or how does that work,
I
Jim?
would call them and say, hey, tell them everything that happened. Say, could you please ask them to send it back to me and not charge that credit card form? And then I would send it in a whole new application with a cashier's check and just start over.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jim.
Bye, Mohammed. See you, buddy. This is the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States at our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. I'm still recovering from COVID, which is my voice sounds weird. Does it sound weird? It sounds weird to me. I don't know. It sounds weird. It sounds a little cracky. We're going to have a firm barbecue here in a little bit, so that'll be fun for the St. Louis people. We're going to have hamburgers. There were some old, nasty frozen hamburgers up in the freezer, and I said to Amr, hey, Amr, we're not eating those old, nasty frozen hamburgers that have been in there since September, are we? She said no. So I'm happy about that. We got some new hamburgers, so that's good. Evelyn, if you want to get a hold of us, just send us an email, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com, or call 314-961-8200. That's true for everybody, but I saw Evelyn had a question. All right, and then, if you're not in our Facebook group, we've had 70 people join the Facebook group this week. It's sort of crazy. It's up to, I don't know how many it is. I haven't checked lately, but there's a shitload of people in there talking about immigration. And then, of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Whenever we go live, you'll find out. Also, we have the text line. If you want to get a text whenever we're going to go live so you can get in the waiting room first, it's 314-470-3300. Yeah, the credit card companies think USCIS are frauds. Haha, well, they should. In a lot of ways, they are. Donna, yeah, I got COVID in Denver about almost 2 weeks ago. Tomorrow will be, or today's 2 weeks, yeah. I'm finally feeling better. All right. Thanks for asking. Quick question. Hello. Quick question.
Hi, how are you?
Great. What's up?
Good. I just had a real quick question about the birth certificate. So, my husband's from Champaign, Illinois area, so
Yeah.
kind of closer to St. Louis. So
Yeah.
I had a question that, we received 2 forms of birth certificate, which is from the hospital and the government, like Illinois government.
Yeah.
So which one do we send it to USCIS?
Were they both generated at or around the time that he was born?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd send them both.
Okay, send them both. Okay.
Yeah.
And then does that have to be scanned, or can I just take a picture and send it?
Don't ever send pictures of documents to USCIS. It looks like shit. Always scan it in.
Okay. And just another real quick question.
Hold on real quick. That's a good TikTok for me. Don't be taking pictures of your nasty documents. Okay. Go ahead.
A second question was, I was an F1 student before this. So during COVID, I don't know how I got a stimulus check from the government. So would that be a public charge?
No, I don't think, no, that's not public charge.
Okay. I think that's all I had to clear. Thank you so much for your help.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Luca's here. Hello, Luca.
Hi. Thank
Can
you
I ask a
very much
question?
Sure,
Do you live on the second floor?
I do.
There's an old song from the 90s called My Name is Luca and I Live on the Second.
Yep.
But you do live on the second floor,
I
so
do
I was
live on the
right.
second floor, and
That's
I'm
great.
actually in my office that's on the second floor. So
Holy shit. That was prophetic. How you doing?
pretty good. Thank you very much for
Sure.
having me on the show. I have a question. So I'm filing for 485. I got married to a U.S. citizen a year ago. And I'm currently on F1 visa since 2016. And my wife is not employed. She's in medical school. So in 864, I put, because I'm part of the household, I put my income and everything because I'm working.
Yeah.
And I read somewhere that I need to also put evidence for lawful employment. So I put that I'm working, I got the employment verification.
Yeah.
But at the moment, so I was in OPT until June 4th, and that expired on June 4th, but I applied for STEM OPT extension in March. So I was in a grace period until they approved it. They approved it in July, but I never got the card. I guess that's gonna happen later. Can I just provide them that I got a receipt that it was approved? Is that enough, or?
Well, I don't know how long you've watched this show, but I generally have a problem with trying to include the beneficiary's income. They usually won't do that.
Mm-hmm. So it's better to maybe have a joint sponsor?
I mean, every now and then somebody proves me wrong, but what we tell people is you're going to waste 6 to 8 months trying to convince them to consider your assets when it would be just a whole lot easier and, more importantly, a whole lot faster just to get a joint sponsor.
Okay. And one more question. I was also thinking of applying for 765 to get work authorization while waiting for green card.
Yeah.
I do have a STEM OPT at the moment. Is it possible to hold 2 EADs, or once they approve the one based on adjustment of status, my F1 status would be no longer valid?
It is possible, and what I say, it's advisable. So absolutely, yes, go for both.
Okay. So I can hold both, technically.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks very much. I really appreciate it. And thanks for all these videos.
Sure. Luca, the one thing I would say is if you can avoid working on the F1, on the marriage-based one, it'll maintain your F1. So if you can avoid it, but you're married to a U.S. citizen, you're going to get a green card. So,
I can. My reason why I'm going with both, somebody asked me, was like, why would you need both? Is I use a lot of unemployed days from OPT. I do get another 60 with extension.
Yeah.
But with all these layoffs, and it's so hard to find e-verified company.
Yeah.
I wanted just to have it in case. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I love it. Yep.
Okay.
Definitely will.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Everybody. Yep. Take care. That was Luca. He lives on the second floor. Dennis is here. Hello, Dennis.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Good, buddy.
Hey, I got a question, a quick question. I live in Louisville, Kentucky here. And,
oh, great.
I have a friend with the wife and a kid that they live in Bosnia currently. That's where they're from.
Yeah.
I was looking at some ways where I can maybe bring him over here to stay and work legally.
What's your status?
I'm a U.S. citizen.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay.
And I don't know what are some of the ways where I can bring him here.
So you're already married?
No, I'm single, but I have a friend with a wife and a kid, and I'm trying to bring him over.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You had I thought you said you had a wife and kid.
No. My friend has a wife and a kid.
Got it. So there's a dude in Bosnia. He's married and has one kid, and they want to come to the United States.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. So there's 4 basic ways to come to the United States. One is the diversity visa. So every October, they should apply for the diversity visa, both of them, the husband and the wife. They can each apply. Number 2 is if, they fear going back to Bosnia, if they are able to come to the United States and fear going back because of something like asylum or refugee-like, which probably is going to be pretty tough these days in Bosnia. Thank
Yeah.
God. So third would be family. So they're not married. Neither of them are married to U.S. citizens. So if they have a family member, that's going to take 10 or 20 years to bring them that way. So really what you're talking about is employment, right?
Employment, yeah.
So what skill set does our brother in Bosnia have?
His pretty much the general labor. I would say he got nothing special.
Yeah. So you could try to get him an employment-based green card. That's going to take about 4 years.
Oh, 4 years.
That'd be an EB3. Yeah. If you're going to have to show he has the experience, that the employer has the necessity, that there aren't any Americans who can do that job, and that the company's legit and not a family kind of a situation.
I do have a trucking company, which is only like 2 people in it, like me and my brother.
Yeah.
Somehow we go that way, or
has he ever worked as a truck driver?
No.
Yeah, so that's not going to fly because you gotta match the job with the ability to pay, with the inability to find American workers, with the experience of the individual.
That's probably tough that way.
Yeah.
Even that it takes 4 years. So
even that takes 4 years. Yeah.
So I think the diversity is probably the quickest way. How long does that take?
Well, it's a lottery, so 1 million people apply for 50,000 spots, which sounds bad, but if he and his wife apply, that's 2 out of 1 million. And every year our office handles diversity visa cases. So I know it sounds like a long shot, but that's probably the only one that's going to work.
Oh wow! So do I have to go to a lawyer, or can I just do it?
No. So if you get on our mailing list, every October we'll send out the announcement. Right around October 5th, the State Department will open it up. They don't have to pay. Don't get a lawyer or anything. There's no reason to pay anybody. You can. Huh?
I can probably do it myself for them.
Yeah. You would. I mean, you probably want to have them online with you while you're doing it, but it's pretty basic stuff. And then if they get so in October you apply, you find out in May, and then the following October is when the process starts. So it takes about 2 years.
2 years.
If you get picked.
Okay. Well, I guess that answered my question.
Thanks, Dennis. See you, buddy.
Thanks.
Peace. All right, everyone's talking about TV over there. Has anybody watched The Bear, the 3rd season? The Bear is my favorite show. It's very stressful. I think it's one of the best shows I've ever seen about running a business. But man, that show stresses me out, especially when old Jamie Lee Curtis shows up. She is not a nice person. Judson is back. What's up, Judson?
Hey, how are you, Tim?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Good. How you been?
Did you change your hair? Did you change your hair?
I did. I call her.
Yeah, looks good. Looks good. How you doing?
Okay. How you doing? That's good. You feel better for the COVID?
Getting there. Yep.
That's good. Jim, remember
Oh.
about my vow was approved last year before Christmas, and so I just want to make sure with you. I mean, like when they show me my I-485, they say like biometrics, and they apply like my fingerprint in my case. What does that mean?
Have you gone and done your biometrics?
Well, I did when I did for the employment and all that.
Well, did you get any notice on the 485 about what they're going to do with your biometrics? Usually they'll say, we're going to use the old ones. Is that what they said?
No, they did say that. Because before my vow, December 15th, before that, they applied for my employee authorization. So so after a month, they approved my vow.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they might gonna give the green card because my lawyer says it's gonna be between 3-6 months. So
Right.
It's been 7 months already.
Yeah.
So in June they approved my employee authorization with 5 years in the advanced parole.
Right. Have you called them lately?
I tried, but so tough to talk to them.
Just say info pass.
I mean, for the immigration, for my lawyer, you're talking about?
Well, both.
My lawyer, I don't want to deal with her anymore because every time I ask something, she's get mad, and she's like, "Oh, they don't know what they can say," and
Yeah.
I have to. So I'm sorry.
That's okay.
They say I have to.
Call USCIS and see what the deal is. That 45 should be done by now.
Right? Because she say, "Oh, the last time I spoke with her, she said she have the cases take like 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years."
That's what I would say too. Usually after the 360, it's usually a year for us.
Okay.
So you're just chilling.
I just want to make sure now because I just want to make sure this, because I
Yeah.
thought, I mean, like,
Do
because
they
the
have,
one
do they have your current address and everything?
they have everything. So the
Okay.
only thing they show when I go online, they say like, they show me my fingerprints, what at my case. That's my biometricist.
That
But
just
this
means
is
that's just a way of saying they're processing the case. All right,
Mhm.
Justin, I'll talk to you, buddy.
Thank you. Hope feel better. Take
Keep
care.
us posted. Yep, see ya. All right, all right. I don't know if you guys remember, there's a movie with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes called Judge Dredd, and Wesley Snipes had that yellow hair like that. All right, Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Jim. How are you today?
Great, buddy. How you doing?
Very good. Thank you. We went to the adjustment of status yesterday, the interview with my spouse, and they asked me two questions. They asked several, but there's two that I think we have problem with. The first one, they asked me is if I ever applied for a visa and it was denied, and I said no. And the officer seemed concerned, so I asked her what's the issue. She said, well, your visa was first denied, or they were about to deny it when you applied for it, and then they corrected it and approved it. I told her, well, I didn't know that. There's nothing on my passport that shows that, and they didn't mention anything to me. So she gave me the opportunity to adjust the question on the form and put yes, and then she put an explanation that he didn't know that he was first denied. I don't know if this is a problem.
What kind of visa and what embassy was it?
It was an F1 student visa in 2011 in Damascus, Syria.
So is that the only visa you've ever applied at an embassy overseas for?
Correct, yes.
So you're telling me that in 2011 you applied for a student visa, it ultimately got approved.
Yes.
And you didn't know that at some point they were about to deny it, or they had denied it, and then they changed their mind and approved it.
That's correct, yes.
She tried to hold that against you a little bit and made you change your answer.
She was nice.
Yeah.
She wasn't mean in any way, but yeah, she seemed concerned, and I thought to myself, let me just put yes, better than put no, and then they consider it as misinformation.
Your spouse is a U.S. citizen?
Correct.
And did the officer tell you, yeah, I agree, this is one where a lawyer, I never would have agreed to do that. I would have told him to fuck off, but that's okay. I understand why you did it. Did the officer tell you why it was almost denied or no?
She did not say. She said, yeah, I can see how they corrected it and they approved it afterward.
Well,
But
she sounds like a dumbass. That was a dumb question. To me, it sounds like an inexperienced officer.
Could be. Now, the bigger issue is the one I discussed with you about 2 weeks ago, is my previous asylum case with my previous spouse. I was a derivative on that case.
I remember.
Yes. So she asked me, have you ever applied for asylum? And I can tell she's anticipating my answer. And I told her I was a derivative on my previous spouse's asylum case. However, we are divorced. You have all the evidence. And I provide her with a letter that I sent to the asylum office in Arlington, Virginia, asking for me to be removed from that case. And so she said, well, I can't yet approve then your 485. I have no problem with your 130. I can see that you guys are married and you have all the evidence, but I can't approve the 485 until I get your asylum file from the asylum office. And they are very busy, so I don't know how long that would take. So I am very concerned right now. I don't know what the next step for me to take to resolve this situation, and I need your advice, please.
Well, number one, that's BS. They can't approve your case without your seeing your asylum file, but a lot of officers do take that tact. How long has your 485 been on file?
1 year exactly.
1 year. So I would say, I mean, you're not going to want to hear this, but if 6 months go by from the interview and you don't have a decision, and you might say 90 days, but 6 months for sure. What field office?
Fairfax, Virginia, and I want to try to resolve it before the 20th of January.
Okay. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Right. January 20th. It's a big day. So let's say if you don't have something by November 1st, let me know, and then we'll talk about suing them.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
Bye, Mike. See you, buddy.
See you. Bye-bye.
That's a tricky one. It's hard to, because you can't technically withdraw a case when you're a derivative on asylum. So that makes it a little bit tricky. All right. Traylene has called me out. Damn. Traylene was right. It was Demolition Man. I forgot about that. Sad to say, I saw both Judge Dredd and Demolition Man at the movies. Did you guys know I used to go to about 120 movies a year? This is when I used to eat popcorn all the time and I weighed like 300 pounds. I was in the movie eating. I'd go out to dinner and then I'd go to the movies and eat. But yeah, I saw a ton of movies, and Sylvester Stallone made some bad ones. Did anyone remember Stop or My Mom Will Shoot? That was horrible. He's made a lot of bad movies. Now, I really love Sylvester Stallone. If I'm in a slump and I watch a couple of Rockies, that always gets me turned around. I love Sylvester Stallone, but man, he has made some stinkers. And Demolition Man wasn't bad. I think that might even be based on a Stephen King book. But Judge Dredd, which was based on a comic book, was not very good. All right, Shay is here. Hello, Shay.
Hey, Jim. How are you?
She's like, why is this damn immigration lawyer talking about it?
No, it's very interesting.
Yeah. What's
How
up?
you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. So I had a quick question. I'm a U.S. citizen that's married to a Canadian citizen. We had our I-130 interview in December, and he got handed a DS 5535 form. The officer told him it would take a couple months. Obviously, now it's been 7 months. So we're just trying to kind of see our options, see what we can do. He's currently right now here in the U.S. with me. He came to visit me last month.
Oh, I know what I would do.
Yeah, so we're trying to look at our options. Like, I know a lawsuit is an option, but I know also, like, we've been looking at a lot of adjustment of statuses getting approved.
Yeah.
So we're wondering if that's a route that we should take.
So to me, it's about the same cost to file a lawsuit as to file for a green card if you use a lawyer. I love taking approved I-130s for consular processing. The beneficiary happens to be in the United States. They wait 60 days upon arrival. They talk to an immigration lawyer like me, and then they make a decision. I'm sick and tired of waiting in Montreal. That's been 7 months in AP. It could be another 7 months in AP. I'm going to stay here with Shay. We're going to start our life together, and I'm just going to file for adjustment, work card, and travel doc.
All right. Okay. So when he crossed via land border, they didn't give him an I-94. Is that something that we'd need for the adjustment if we decide to do that?
You got to show a valid entry.
Okay.
I mean, anecdotally, you know, so when you get online and look for 994, there's nothing.
No, it shows his like entry date, but it doesn't say like a valid one. He has one from like 2021 when he flew to come here, but that's expired technically. That's
okay. That I would file with both those. I would say this is, I mean, Canadians, they're going to understand. And I'm sorry, did you tell me where you live?
Houston, Texas.
Yeah. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. I think you're good to go. I would just submit all the evidence of both entries, and then you say, you guys pick which one, but he's only been here since this day when he entered. And of course, wait the 60 days.
All right. Okay. And then one more question. Before he came to visit me last month, he took a leave of absence from his job just for like mental health and stress reasons. Do you think that would raise any red flags to USCIS?
Has he ever taken one before?
No.
How long has he had the job?
About 3 years, a little over 3 years.
Is it a job that he can do remotely?
Yes.
So could he start back up working or no? Or he doesn't?
He could, but we thought since he doesn't have authorization to work here, then he wouldn't be able to do that.
I mean, well, he will be asked what were his dates of employment. It's not the best factor in the world, but if you can show other ways that he maintained ties and sort of had that intent to come back to Canada, and that really, and if you're going to have to, the biggest thing in the case is going to be proven up that he didn't have immigrant intent when he came over.
All right. Okay.
And to me, that's where you blame the lawyer who said, "Oh yeah, screw that, we're not going back."
All right. Okay. So since he is able to do it remotely, like, should he try to go back, or should we just kind of leave it?
I'd say live your life and do what you want.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Jim.
Bye, Shay. See ya. Lots of good calls today. What a great show we're having today. I'm very excited. Lots of good questions. Sanusi's here. Hello, Sanusi.
Hello, Mr. Hacking. My name's Courtney. I'm calling on behalf of my husband today, Maiwa. He's right here beside me, but he's not comfortable showing his face.
Oh, that's okay. We have side characters on the show all the time. That's totally fine.
Yeah, so I'm an American citizen, and my husband, he's a Nigerian citizen. So I filed for him in December 2021. My I-130 and his I-4895 still has not been approved as of yet. It's still pending as of today. We've tried calling, tried to see what's going on, why it's taking so long, and they keep saying the same thing. It's still within processing time.
December 2021, is that what you said?
Yes.
So, and you filed them together, the I-130 and the 45?
Mm-hmm. No interview.
So, yeah. $1 million question.
Mm-hmm.
What visa did he enter on, and what visas did he ever apply for in Nigeria besides this one?
Well, he had a visa. It was his original visa to come in was for it was a visiting visa for a conference, like a dental conference. Because
when was that?
Yeah.
What was it? When was the visit visa?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's a visiting B1, B2.
When?
When was it, dear?
That was 2017.
2017.
So when you guys got married, he was out of status.
Yes.
Technically, yes, I guess so.
Well, not technically, by like 4 years, he was out of status. He was out of status. Yeah.
Yes.
Did he go to that conference?
He did. He did go to.
Is that the only visa he's ever had to the United States?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So when he went to apply for that visit visa to the United States, was he married or single?
He was single.
Did he say he was married?
No.
Is he sure?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have a copy of the DS-160?
Yes. Yeah, I should. Probably my email or something.
Did he fill it out himself, or did somebody fill it out for him?
Did you fill it out yourself?
Yeah, I filled it out myself.
He filled it out himself.
So the only visa that you've ever applied for is this visit visa for a conference that you came for. And then if they ask you, why didn't you go back on time? Why didn't you go back?
Well, I guess he decided to stay.
He just sort of liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Okay. So that's cool. So here's why his case is delayed. His case is delayed because they discriminate against men from Nigeria. They assume that everybody from Nigeria is running a scam, and they're waiting for your marriage to fall apart. That's all the God's honest truth. Those are the main reasons. Now, the good thing is, the reason I was asking about the visa and the DS-160, check that DS-160 to make sure. But a lot of people, there's a lot of funny business when it comes to saying married or single. A lot of times they won't give a single person a visit visa to the United States. And is he in fact a dentist?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
He is a dentist.
Okay. Yeah. So people make up all kinds of shit, and these people around the embassy in Nigeria say, "Oh yeah, say you're married," or "Oh yeah, say you're a dentist," when you aren't really, right? So it sounds like
I was asked questions to prove that I am, and I was able to prove to them that I am.
Okay, good. Well, but so the good thing is this is a case. This sounds really bad. The good thing is this is a case of racial profiling and prejudice. It's not a case where you have fundamental problems in your case, if that makes sense. It's a bad way to say it. Only a lawyer would say it that way. But what I mean by saying that is it's an approvable case based on what you've told me. So if I were you, what I would do is, have they approved the I-130, or is that still pending too? So, and if you had an interview, what field office would it be in?
It would be Washington, D.C.
So Fairfax.
Yeah.
So I would sue them. I would sue them in federal court, say, this is BS. We've been waiting 30 months for my husband's I-130 45. They'll probably schedule you for an interview in about a month and a half, and he'll have his green card in about 2 or 3 months, unless there's something that I don't know about.
Well, there is one thing I think we should mention. So previously, before I ever met him, he did have a marriage in America. Like after he came, he did have a previous marriage in America that he had filed another I-4895 and I-130. The marriage didn't work out. He was called for an interview during that marriage, but it was inconclusive, and they just left the case abandoned. So
Who's they? He and his ex-wife?
Yes. So
Yes.
she didn't attend the interview, so they couldn't. For whatever reason, there were issues going on. Then she didn't attend the interview. So I was the only one that attended the interview. So they came around, asked questions and everything, but still they asked her to come in, but she didn't go in. So they didn't approve the case. The case was pending through for for some time. So in that period of time, I said, look, it's like his marriage is not working. So I had to let her go because
So
she was
did anybody withdraw the I-130 and the 485?
yeah. So the lawyer I hired then said we have to withdraw the I-130 and I-485, which we did. So we
Good.
sent a letter to them, and then they sent the letter back telling us that they withdrew the case. So that was what we do before filing the new case.
So there was never a final decision issued.
No, there was never a final decision on that case. It was just pending throughout.
So if they knocked on your door tomorrow, I'm sorry, if they knocked on your ex-wife's door tomorrow and said, "Hey, was this marriage real or fake?" What would she say?
You say it's real because they spoke with her parents. They spoke with her parents, and they never denied me.
Say that again.
They spoke with her parents because they met with her parents, and they never denied me.
USCIS met with her parents?
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
They came looking for him.
Yeah, they came to my house.
But he wasn't home.
But I was at work then, and then they visited their parents. And her parents.
Did you live with her parents?
Yeah.
And they so you don't think any of them said bad things about you? Sorry.
No.
Okay. Well, where do you guys live now? What city?
Virginia.
Oh, right, Virginia. Yeah. So, okay. Well, you definitely buried the lead there. That's the issue. This is going to be a case then where, so I made a video about this. They totally believe marriage number 2, but they're shaky on marriage number 1. So we almost have to prove up both marriages.
Yeah. Now we have 2 kids now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's the thing. If you could have the best marriage in the world on number 2, but if number 1 was fake, you got problems.
It wasn't.
I believe you, brother. I believe you, but they don't.
Okay.
So call my office or send an email to info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com and we'll talk about it.
Okay. Because the lawyer that I have right now, which actually prepared the case.
Yeah.
And I asked him about what can we do next about mandamus and stuff like that. He said we should wait like 33 months. And I was like, okay, since 2021, it's almost 33 months, but it kind of feels
You waited plenty, but has anybody FOIA'd your file? Have you FOIA'd your file?
I didn't get that.
Oh, okay. So there's this thing called the Freedom of Information Act where you can try to ask for your old file. Did anybody do that?
No.
Okay, that's a big thing. We want to FOIA that file to see what's in there from your ex or from what USCIS found when they met with your in-laws.
Okay.
All right. So send me an email. We'll go from there. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
All right, ma'am. You look sad. Are you sad? You're not sad, are you?
No, I'm just worried.
Yeah. I got you. I understand. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Well, that was it. It wasn't until the very end we found out what the issue was, but there was that issue. I need to add that to my list about prior marriages in the United States, especially when someone's out of status for 4 years. I forgot to ask that one. So, all right, everybody. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. We'll be back tomorrow. Huli, what time tomorrow? Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. I can look it up. Tomorrow's Thursday. Oh, man, it's a busy day tomorrow. 12 p.m. noon, 12 noon tomorrow. We'll see you then. Thanks, Huli. That'll be episode 637. We'll see you guys. That was a great show today. I love the show today. Lots of good questions. No fluff. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow. Donna, good to see you, kid. Hang in there. Sorry about the hurricane. Love you guys. Bye. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.